Moss Hespa? More like Moss Vespa. Am I right? Am I right? I'm right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Back to Jakku Boba Fett edition, where I go week by week with the Boba Fett episodes as they come out and just give my thoughts because I have thoughts. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. If you're here, I appreciate it. So let's just get right into it, right to business. Episode 3, Chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett dropped today. I stayed up till 3 a.m. last night to watch it, so that was fun. And it was an episode. It was an episode of the Book of Boba Fett, for sure. I have thoughts. Not all of them great, unfortunately, which is a bummer and is something that I didn't want to happen with this show, but it's just the way it is. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Spoiler warning, obviously, for Chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. So I stayed up to 3 in the morning to watch it. I was pretty tired last night when it was being shown to my eyes. So that wasn't great, but it is what it is. The episode starts out with this guy who sells water coming to Boba and Fennec, basically being like, "Hey, these cybernetic punk rock teenagers are stealing my water." So he goes. Boba Fett goes to him, and it's basically like, "Oh yeah, this guy's charging way too much for his water, and honestly, I don't blame you, kids. Work for me." And so the water seller doesn't like that. The water broker, whatever his title was, and the punk rock steampunk teenagers join Boba Fett with their Vespa mopeds, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, so that was a thing that happened. And then we go back to the flashbacks with the Tuskens. And I've seen the episode twice now. I think I'm remembering this correctly. These, just going off topic for a sec here, these episodes of Back to Jakku, just the Boba Fett ones I do by myself, I have no notes. I have no plan. I hit record on the audio thing. I hit record on my camera, and then I just talk. It's a lot less formal than a typical Back to Jakku episode would be. So if my thoughts seem all over the place, I do apologize. It's because I have no plan. I'm going into this completely off the cuff. So yeah, anyway, sorry if I seem all over the place. That's just how it is. So then we go back to the Tusken flashbacks. And so Boba Fett leaves the Tusken camp to go talk to the Pikes in Mos Eisley. And we do see Pele, Princess Carolyn, a.k.a. I think her name is Amy Sudeikis. Her character from The Mandalorian with the 3 pit droids in the background of one shot. Absolutely loved that. I let out an audible chuckle when that happened. I'm like, ha, look who it is. So that was cool to see. Love that little connection to The Mandalorian. And you saw him putting the Stormtrooper helmets on the spikes that we see in The Mandalorian too, which was cool. So Boba goes to talk to the Pike syndicate leader, and the Pike dude is like, "Yeah, we would pay you, but we already paid the Nikto biker gang, and we're not gonna pay 2 parties." And then so Boba's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go have a chat with the biker gang, and you guys are not going to be hearing from them again." So that's implying that he's going to go wipe them out, basically, and make them so they're not a problem, and that way the Tuskens can get the money from the Pikes. Now here's where the issue comes in. He gets back to the Tusken camp, and they have been massacred. They have been slaughtered. The men, Tuskens, dead, but not just the men, but the women and the children too. And honestly, I hate that. I hate it because they've spent the past 2 episodes developing these Tusken characters, and up until this point in Star Wars, I don't think anybody cared about the Tusken Raiders, because in the original trilogy they were just raiders who were kind of a nuisance on Tatooine, and you just didn't want to interact with them, and you wanted to stay away from them, and you saw them as almost barbaric and non like humanized, you know. And then we got a little bit of character for the Tuskens in The Mandalorian in the first season when you see him, Mando, interact with them to get passage across Tatooine. And then in season 2, the episode with Cobb Vanth, you really get some Tusken development. But that was nothing compared to the development we've been getting in the Book of Boba Fett. And it was so cool to see, and it was so good to see. And it's making you care about these people that you normally wouldn't care about. And you feel for them, and you have sympathy, and you're rooting for them, really. And that was just all undone in this episode. It all just went away because the Tuskens were massacred by the Nikto biker gang. And that's so dumb because the reason it happened was for Boba's character development, right? Like, he's obviously those Tuskens kind of meant a lot to him, and now that they were slaughtered, he's obviously, that's for his character. But it didn't need to happen because he was already going to go after the biker gang. He literally just told the Pike leader, I'm going to go make sure you never hear from the Niktos again. So why did they need to massacre the Tuskens? Because he would have gone after the Niktos either way. Now, for sure, he's going to go after them, and they're screwed, quite frankly. But either way, Boba Fett was going to go after the Niktos. So why did they have to slaughter the Tusken Raiders? That's not needed for his character development. It doesn't change anything because it's the same result as Boba Fett going after the biker gang. So just the massacre of the Tuskens, of these characters that we were really growing fond of and really getting to love and see this development of a people that we haven't seen before. And just to undo it like that, it's honestly ridiculous. And it made me mad. I'm actually a little mad. I'm sure you guys can tell. It's stupid. It's so stupid. It didn't need to happen. They were giving us something so cool, something we haven't seen before, and they just took it away. They said, nope, never mind, doesn't matter. It's dumb. It's dumb. Unnecessary. And it makes you sad, and it makes you angry, and honestly, that sucks. It sucks. But, it happened, and there's nothing we can do to change it. I just got to accept it. So that was my little rant about the Tuskens in this episode. Man, they were so cool. I really liked them. I liked them a lot. Anyway, those Niktos are screwed. They got Boba Fett coming after them. They're done. But yeah, so flashback ends. He's still in the back to tank. Out of absolutely nowhere, Black Chrysanthemum jump scare. Oh my God, dude. At 3 a.m, a little past 3 a.m, in a completely pitch black room, watching that scared the crap out of me. I haven't been jump scared that bad in a long time. It literally made me jump back on the couch. It scared the crap out of me because it cuts to him so fast, and he's just there, and he's roaring, and it's horrifying. It's horrifying. So then Boba gets in this fight with Chrysanthemum, and he can't do anything because he's got a 7'5" beast of a Wookiee in front of him who's just going off on poor Boba. And you guys see his toe? Boba's toe in the shot where like Chrysanthemum's got him held up in the air, like you can only see Boba's feet, and like his big toe is like up. It's like pointed upward. It's ow. I was like, oh, I don't like that. But yeah, so Boba tries to put up a fight, but he can't. So then the punk rock cybernetic kids come in and stab Chrysanthemum a couple times and electrocute him and shoot him, but to no avail because again he's a beast. Then he tackles the Gamorreans down the steps, and then he takes a bite out of one's neck, and eventually Fennec pulls the Rancor door on him, and he's holding on, and then she takes out her little knife that she's got in her buttstock and throws it in his hand, and he drops into the Rancor pit and is a prisoner down there. And then, so after that, the Hutt twins, pull up to the palace, basically saying, yeah, we set Chrysanthemum to kill you, but we're sorry. sorry. Here's a Rancor to show our apology. With Danny Trejo, I was like, when he appeared on screen, his first shot, you can't really tell it's him, but I'm like, is that Danny Trejo? And I turned to my roommate who I was watching it with, and he was like, yeah, I think it is. So Danny Trejo's in Star Wars now. That's cool. So then I forgot what the twins said in that moment. Basically, that they sent Chrysanthemum to kill Boba. They're sorry. It's bad for business. They're going back to Nal Hutta. And what did? Oh, and then they revealed that the mayor was the sketchy one, doing the business with the Pikes and everything. So then Boba's kind of having a cute little moment with his new Rancor. Which is cool because now we got a little bit of Rancor development in the Bad Batch with Moochie. Now we're getting more Rancor character development in the Book of Boba Fett, which is cool. Hopefully they don't kill this Rancor right away after we get attached to it like they did the Tuskens. And when Boba tells Danny Trejo he wants to ride it, and he says, "I've ridden Beast 10 times its size." That was a holiday special reference, and I picked up on that right away, and I appreciated that. Because the first time you meet Boba Fett, he pulls up on a giant creature. So that was cool. So then, he's having a little moment with his Rancor. He's going to learn to ride it, which I'm very excited to see. And then the droid, his helper droid or whatever, is basically like, hey, the mayor's trying to dip town. So him and Fennec go after the mayor, and the major domo Twi'lek is there, and he goes into the mayor's office and locks the door. The mayor escapes. Major domo tries to escape, but it's not to no avail because we get the slowest high-speed chase sequence I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Those little moped scooters, the vibrant colored moped scooters, they look like they go 10, maybe 15 miles an hour max. They look like they're so slow, and that was the slowest chase scene I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And out of all the things, out of the entire episode, just kind of looking at it as a whole, this sequence was definitely my least favorite. I just didn't really care for it. But yeah, so then he ends up crashing, and the major domo, and then he reveals that, it's the mayor's working with the Pikes. And then so one of the punk rock kids basically is doing a recon thing and finds a bunch of Pikes coming to town, and then he calls Boba, and Boba's like, okay, war is coming, and that's how the episode ends. Out of the 3 episodes so far, this one is by far my least favorite of the 3. I like 2 the best, 1 the second best, and this one last. It was fine. It just didn't do for me what the other 2 episodes did. Between just breaking my heart with the Tuskens and having a subpar chase sequence with those colorful Power Ranger bikes. Excuse me. I wasn't that into it. The Chrysanthemum fight was cool. The Rancor stuff was cool. But other than that, this episode just didn't really do it for me. And I've been seeing a lot of complaints about this episode. Some of them I understand. Some of them, again, I don't get. But it's Star Wars, and nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. But for me, I don't know. I liked the episode, but it was definitely not my favorite. I don't know how I feel about the punk rock speeder bike kids. They're cool. They are cool, but I don't know. I hope I'll grow to like them more. Their bikes specifically, I don't think really fit on Tatooine. The shiny, vibrant color mopeds that look like they belong on Coruscant. In the dusty, sandy environment of Mos Vespa now. That's not a funny joke. I'm sorry I opened with that. You would think they'd be like all sandy and like their paint would be chipped and everything. And I'm looking way too into this. I understand that Star Wars is camp, and Star Wars is supposed to be goofy and silly, and this is a prime example of that. but I don't know. It just This episode was okay. Um, so I think that about does it. I'm trying. We're already at 15 minutes here. I always want to keep these under 10 minutes, but I just cannot shut my mouth fast enough. And I always just ramble on. So I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there because I don't want to go too far in depth. I think at the end of the show, I'm gonna do a formal podcast episode, not just by myself, where we talk about the Book of Boba Fett, and that's where I'll go more in depth with a little more nuance. These kind of mini episodes are just for my initial thoughts, I guess. So that's chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode. And if you made it this far, go head on over to YouTube, and in the comment section down below, let's do a hashtag. Hashtag. I never think of the hashtags ahead of time, and I should. Hashtag. I want to do something with the Chris Hansen jump scare, but I don't know what that would be. Let's do hashtag Moss Vespa, like the Vespa scooters, the Vespa mopeds. Hashtag Moss Vespa in the YouTube comments down below. Thank you so much for listening. I really like doing these kind of mini episodes, just rambling about my favorite, one of my favorite Star Wars characters. So thank you guys for watching, listening, whatever you did, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.